Hello class, welcome to the assignment number 10, or the lecture number 10, excuse me. Today we're going to go over the details and annotations that are done in Revit on 2D drawings. And what we're going to continue to work in the class project 1 file that we've been using for our main lectures on the building we've been creating. So go ahead and open that. Depending on what your last view was, we want to make sure that we are on level 1. So if you need to, go to your project browser and double click on level 1 to open it, and go ahead and close out all of your other views as we won't need them for this class. So to start off today, we're going to create a new section, and to do that, go to the View tab and then select the section icon. And then let's draw one starting up here above Office 104 that's cutting through the window, and let's drag it all the way down to past Office 108. And if you can remember from one of our previous lectures, we discussed that you can use these double blue arrows here to change how far you're viewing. So say we want to see, we don't want to see the stair, we don't have to. If you keep the double blue arrows on the left side of them, it will not show that far back. Likewise can be said, if you go farther than the stairs, you'll see the stairs in your extents. So now go to the project browser and scroll down to your section list. Depending on how many sections you have in your project. Right now I only had 2 previous ones before the one that we just placed, and so my most recent section will be section 3. So whatever your recent section is, go ahead and double click that and open it. And then here you go, you can see the view crop bar that's going around here. You can turn this on and off. You don't have to look at it. You can do that simply by going to the Properties palette, and where it says Crop Region Visible, you can check that off and click Apply. You don't have to do that. It's just optional. Just letting you know that that's there. And then also when you look at this this line drawing that we have here of our section, you'll notice that it's pretty elementary. There's only just the exterior faces and interior faces, that it lacks any real detail other than the fact that it's just cutting through a wall and then a window. If you want to see more detail, which we will, go to the view bar, and you're going to hover over the detail level. Right now it's at coarse. We're going to click that and then choose Fine. And then here you can see the wall just added a bunch of different layers. You have a layer here with this cross hatch over here. Just to show you where these layers are coming from and how Revit knows what layers are where, you can select the wall and go to the Edit Type button. And then, as you can see in mine, I already have it open. If you do not have this viewing box to the left open, you'll just click the preview down here to open it, and then you can change the view from floor plan to section. And these visible layers that they have here are coming from the structure under construction. So click the Edit button next to Structure, and then you can see here that you have all of these different finishes with this material. So you can see right now the finish 1 is the common brick. That is what is highlighted. And then you have thermal air, so it's giving an air gap. And then you have a membrane. And then you have the substrate, which is going to be plywood sheathing. And then you'll have it, right now it's saying it's going to be on metal stud layers. So that's just so you know that you can create different materials and it will show it in section for you, so you don't have to draw them and create hatches. So we're going to click Cancel to exit out of all of this. Just wanted to show you where that information was. Okay, so we're going to go back up to the View tab, and we're going to look at this callout icon right here. We're going to click the drop-down arrow, and we're going to select the rectangle icon. So what this is doing is it's going to create a callout over important areas that architects normally call out very specific details where materials meet to show connection points. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a callout at the top of the window here. So you just click once and drag until it covers this connection where the wall and the top of the window meet. And then you can select the actual callout itself, and you can go ahead and hover over this blue dot towards the round head that they had, and you can click and drag it to the left side because you don't want callouts to interfere with the actual drawing itself. There we go, and let's create a couple more here. We'll do the same thing for the bottom of the window. And let's do one more where the floor meets the wall. That's going to be a big one. And then just like last time, select the callout and hover over the blue dot and click and drag it over to the left side. So now that we have the three callouts already on our drawing, I want you to take a moment to look at the project browser under our sections section. You'll notice that we now have our three callouts, and because this is the section line that it lands on, it will automatically name it for you, section 3, and it will call it callout 1, callout 2, callout 3 as you've laid them. So go ahead and double click on the callout number 1. We want to go ahead and open that, and you can see here that the bubble that was over our section 1 here that you can see, that bubble is now this crop view box. This, just like before, as I showed you, you can go to the Properties palette, and the crop region visible, you can turn that on and off. And okay, and for this one, the demonstration will be easier. Go ahead and open the call out that we did where the floor meets the wall. I believe this one on mine is the call out 3. Yes. All right, so I'm going to close out call out 1. All right, so here's my call out 3, and let's just say if this isn't enough room, we can always select that crop region box, and we can click these little blue dots and hold and drag down to make them a little wider if necessary. If this level bar is in the way, we can select it, right click, and you can do hide in view, and we can just hide that one element just to make it a little bit easier for us. Okay, so one of the main types of annotations that we can do in order to make this drawing correct, where Revit does not show that this floor is intersecting this wall correctly. Those types of details aren't there accurately, so sometimes what we have to do is we have to mask a region, and to do this, go to the Annotate tab, and you'll see this region icon here. Select that drop down, and you'll see that there's a filled region and then there's a masked region. So a masking region is going to hide your line work, or it could fade a line work using a transparency, and then a filled region is what would actually add a pattern or a hatch like we would normally see in AutoCAD, which can help describe a material such as insulation batting or you know, any other kind of filler that we have. So go ahead and select the masking region, and we're going to use the rectangle tool, and we're going to mask over this intersection here where the wall meets the floor, and we're going to cover up this section here. So we're going to leave the brick and this air gap and this OSB here, and we're just going to kind of cover up these lines where the floor is meeting and coming into our structure of the wall, and we're going to hide that. So go ahead and click the green check mark to finish that mask, and then if you step off of it, you can see that this one now has a box around it. So in order to get rid of that box, we're going to go ahead and select that masking region, and we're going to hit Edit Boundary and see if it will let us fix it. It will not. Okay, so what we'll do here, I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and we'll do another, go ahead and delete it, and then let's go back into that masking region. If you needed to, it's the Annotate tab, under Region, click Masking Region. So whenever you make these, you may need to change the line style here, and they have a couple of pretty basic kind of line types that you can do, as far as hidden lines that would be dashed, or overhead lines which are kind of dashed, but what we want is something that's going to be invisible. We don't want this masking region to show up. And let's use the rectangle tool, and let's cover that up one more time. Click, drag, and click, and then click the green check mark to finish. And if I just click off into the canvas just to deselect it, you'll see that now that masking region is there, but we can't see the edges of it. Okay, so we do need to edit this masking region just a little bit. We don't want it, right now it's somewhat kind of clipping off this little edge here of these straight lines. We actually want this interior face to meet this top face here. So go ahead, select the masking region, and just use the double blue arrows to just bring down and snap just right over these lines. I'll zoom in here. You can even get it really close to it without going too far over it, because it still sometimes shows. So zoom in and just drag and pop out just a little bit. That one's still showing. There we go. And one more right there. Perfect. Okay, now that we've hidden lines, let's actually create a regional fill. So go to the Annotation tab, Annotate, and then under the region icon again, we'll select that drop-down arrow and click the Filled region. And at the top on the ribbon where it says Line Styles, do the drop down there, and we want to choose Thin Lines right now for this next box. Alright, and then choose the choose the rectangle tool, and over here in the Properties palette, go ahead and do the drop down here on the type selector, and let's choose a different type of fill pattern. And we can just, so this one here has vertical lines, let's do a diagonal up pattern. There we go. And then we're going to click about here and create, there we go, just kind of going over it. And then we're going to do one more, and we're going to choose this line here. So we have the top of the floor. We're going to do this second area here, and we're going to bring that all the way into that other line. So therefore it kind of covers what was already there. And then we're going to hit the green check mark to finish that edit mode. And okay, we cannot have overlapping lines. Okay, so what we'll do is let's try the trim extends to corner, and let's try that. And let's get rid of that other one. It looks like I use a trim extend, so I ended up getting rid of this bottom part here. So we'll drop that, just drop a little line there to finish that off. So now it's kind of a T shape. So you have a little arm here, a little top here, and it goes all the way down. So basically got rid of that little piece that was there. Another way that you could do that would be to use this split element tool. I use that one a lot. Okay, so go ahead and click the green Finish Edit Mode, and I'm going to just click off over here into the canvas, and now you can see we have this really nice piece here, but we need a line to be right there. And that is easy because we can just do what's called a detail line. And detail lines are going to be different than what you'll see for model lines. If you go to the Architecture tab and you select the model line, we can just select a plane here. No, it won't let me do it. But when you use a model line, the line will be green, and that's just there as almost like a construction line. It's just there for you to use as reference in case you need to see something. But in Annotate, when you actually do a detail line, it's actually like drawing on a 2D map like you would in AutoCAD. It would just come out as a regular black line that will stay there, and it will show in your drawings. So I just used the regular line tool, and I created a line from here to here to show that this piece that's vertical is separate from the piece that's horizontal. And let's go ahead and continue doing some more of these detail lines because that is our next step. So under the Annotate tab with the detail icon, and we're going to create a few more. We're going to zoom into this area here, and typically OSB, whenever it is used in a whenever it's installed, will actually continue down the wall, and then any kind of flooring will actually come up to it. So therefore we will create these two lines that are going to continue these two longer ones that our masking may have covered. And then we're going to go back over here because normally these floor joists will come in and sit on top of the structures that are in the wall. So you have, let's say if this were like the metal studs or any kind of wood stud, you would have your stud members going vertical here, and then this horizontal member here would be your floor joist, and then the wall would sit on top of that. Okay, and just for some fun, let's just assume this was a wood stud wall. Whenever you would cut a section, you could also use the detail line to create the bottom plate and top plate studs, or excuse me, studs, pieces that would be shown as if you cut through a section in the wall. So using that detail line again, I'm going to draw one line starting here in this corner, and I'm going to drag it over to the left here and then into this corner, and I'm going to click to stop that line, and then I'm going to change to the Modify tool, and I'm going to select that line because I'm going to specifically move it up the nominal amount of what a wood stud would be. So on the ribbon, I'm going to click the Move tool, and then I'm going to select the line, and I'm going to move it up 2.5 inches. That was too much. I meant 1.5 inches, sorry. Okay, I use the Control Z to undo that. Sorry, I'm going to move that up 1.5 inches. There we go. Uh-oh, I lost one of my little lines here. That's okay, because we can draw another one. There you go. There's that. All right, and then wood studs typically have an X through them to show that that is a wood stud there. And then you would also typically have another one here. So I'm going to create that line, and then I'm going to use the Move tool to move that out 1.5 inches. And then that line ended up, because it was stuck to that one, which is now what I'm realizing is happening, when I moved this line was connected to its corner point here, and so when I moved it, it moved with it. So I just selected that line and I click and drug that little blue dot over back to the wall. Oh, that one happened there too, ended up moving. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and we'll make another X across this piece. And I'm just clicking, and then I'm dragging my cursor down, clicking again, and then I hit the Escape key, click, drag down, and click again, Escape key. We're going to have one more. Just going to be right here. And I'm going to move it, and 1.5 inches. And let's unjoin those. Doesn't look like anything went wrong when we move that. Okay, and I click the detail line again and create two more. Now for wood framed walls, there's actually a double top plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of these lines, and then I'm going to hold down the Control key, select my other cross for my X and the bottom here, and then I'm going to use the Copy tool, and I'm going to go from one corner to the other. There we go. And now we have all of our wood members drawn in and all of our detail lines set. So another very handy component that we can use is called a repeating elements component, and what these are is it's for a time-efficient tool, so you can draw a repeating detail in a linear fashion, such as a regular brick or a soldier brick or grout spacings. Luckily for us, Revit has already have a button for insulation, so if you wanted to put that in, we can go ahead and see what that looks like. So this button, you'll just select that, and in case you didn't see where that was, sorry, it's under the Annotate tab, then there's Insulation on the ribbon. We're going to select that, and generally I think you just click here straight in the middle and you just drag up. You can change the width of this. Oh, excuse me there. Click that Insulation tab again. You can also change the width over here in the Properties palette. So it looks like this wall is pretty wide. So we could, oh, nope, wouldn't let me do that. Try that again. There we go. Let's try 6 inches here. And click Apply, and let's see if that fills it up. Yep, that filled it up nicely. And if you want to see what that looks like, we can get that Modify tool, select the Extents box, and we can kind of drag that down a little bit. You can kind of see how cool that looks. Okay. But let's just say that we want to, that this wall right here is a brick wall. We want to add what's going to look like the grout joints that separate each brick. We want to add that detail to really show. We don't want to just rely on these diagonal lines to to represent what brick is. So in order to go about doing this, we want to first mask what's already here. So we're going to go to the region icon under the Annotate tab, region icon, and then go to the masking region. And I'm going to use the rectangle tool again, and I'm going to change the line style to invisible. And I'm going to select up here in the top right corner, and I'm going to drag down to the bottom left corner. And once I've done that and my box is there, I'm going to hit the green Finish Edit Mode check mark. So now I have just an empty void. And in case you don't see yours, this also still works like many other options. If you need to, you can also select it and you can bring it forward or send it back, like up here in the, up here on the ribbon. So in case it's not showing, that could be an issue. So under the detail panel here that we've been working from, you'll notice that there is a component button. Go ahead and click that drop down and you'll see that there you can create your own detail component, much like what we did under architecture when we were making a component that is specific to this drawing. You can make a drawing to where you can place it and it saves into the file, and then you also have the repeating detail component. So we're going to select the repeating detail component. And in the properties palette, we're going to use the type selector just to see that we have this repeating detail brick. There are other repeating details that you can save and upload different families in, much like we've seen in previous lectures. And so in order to place this, we're going to the bottom left corner of the brick layer, and we're going to drag the cursor up to place the repeating pattern. So bottom left, and as you can see, look at it climbing there, and we can just go up a little bit further, and there we go. So now we have the brick. And so now, so the spaces that are here in between, that would be what is considered the grout, like what you see on the outside of a house that separates the brick. But grout is never flat, so let's just say we want to add, go to the Annotate tab, and we want to add another detail line. Let's use the Start End Radius arc, and let's zoom in here. Let's click once, click twice, and let's just make that a little rounded in there. And anytime you get this prompt, it's a good idea to go ahead and save that project. There we go. And so I'm going to select that little grout there. And because remember, we want to try to work smart, not hard. We can make this a linear array. So on the ribbon tool, we can click these 4 squares here that says array. And we can make sure we have the linear checked. And let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have about 8 grouts that we want to make. And we're going to click where it's sitting first and then where we want the next one to be placed. We're going to click right there. And it's a little off. So we'll exit out of that real quick. And I'm going to undo it. If it doesn't really work right, you can also do the copy icon on the ribbon. We can do multiple. So if you want, you can just place them individually yourself as well. Just depends on how accurate you really want to be. So let's make these as accurate as possible. I have to admit that was not much better. And make sure that you place a grout for each grout line that you have available, that you have showing on your brick. There. All right, there we go. So moving on to our next, the next thing we're going to cover is the tag by material. And this is very helpful because if your wall is already created with specific layers, this tag by material already has that information in there, and it just goes ahead and it pulls it out and puts it on the page for you. So to access that, make sure that you go to the Annotate tab, and we're going to have tag by material. We're going to just click that icon, and maybe, I guess so, yes, hold on, let me see about that. Okay, hold on, that's not right. Okay, sorry. Everybody click cancel real quick. I think I said to go to the wrong one. Okay, I did, sorry. That was tag by category. We need to do material tag. Excuse me. So go to the Annotate tab, and then we want to click the material tag. This one will pull up the information. So as you hover over it, you'll see these like question marks and things like that will pop up showing different types of materials. So I just clicked once on the common brick, and I'm going to drag that out to the left here. And let's say we want to do a leader that looks like that. Oh, okay, so that wasn't going to show. That might be because our extent or our regional, our crop region is not showing. So let's go ahead and, oh, there we go. Drag those little blue guys out there. There we go. Don't think we need to go that high. All right. So if you need to, drag that out again. You can even fix these a little bit. You can click and drag these little blue dots out, and that will change that little arm there to have a little bend in it. And let's add a few more. So go to the Annotate tab and click the Material tag, and let's do one for the air. We will line these up here, kind of as nice as possible. And let's do it again. Let's do the sheathing, and let's line that up. Try to line up the words there. Let's see what's next. Got the insulation. Oh, no, that's light gauge steel frame. There we go. It's not picking up that one. Oh, here we go. We can do the gypsum wall. There you go. All right. So make sure that you go through and choose these 5 different materials, and make sure to edit these to make sure they look really nice. If you need to move the text around, you can click that and drag it down. There we go. Make that look really nice. When you're handling these different types of material tags or any other kind of tag, if something is showing up too large, and say whenever you're trying to put this on a page it's just not working right because the text is too large, in order to change that, it's very simple. Just go to the Visual Styles bar and just change that measurement so that we can go down to 1/8 of an inch equals a foot, and it becomes very huge. So that didn't work, so we're going to go up. Let's do 3 inches equals a foot, and then see how tiny it got. So that's just one way of changing the text without actually manually doing that, which you can do that as well. Just select one of the texts and go to the Edit Type button and oh, maybe no, you can't. But you can change the arrows. Okay. There you go. We'll change one of those, see what that looks like. There you go. Alright, so I'm going to change the ½ inch equals 1 foot scale to 1 inch. So everybody go ahead and do the same thing. And now we're going to just try to make this look a little bit more dressed up. So I can fix this a little. Alright, so let's just say the insulation, that bat insulation, it wouldn't pull a material tag. We can still change or still add a leader line with text. And in order to do that, it's going to be a tag by text. So under the Annotate tab, click on the text icon, which is this letter A here. And then you can see up here on the ribbon there are a couple of different versions. You can see one with no leader line, one with a 1 segment, which means that'll just be a straight line. It won't have a kink in it or a bend. You have a 2 segments, which is kind of what we've already done, and then you have it curved. So for us, we're just going to stick with the 2 kinked because it looks right and it's a little bit more organized. So click that, and we're going to point here to this bat material. Going to come out about the same point where we did before, and then again, and then we can type in bat insulation. There we go. And it's not visible, so that's because of the extents bar. There we go. So with these ones, you can actually go back in and change the text size, whereas the other ones, it's more kind of all inclusive, and it oh, hold on. There we go. Okay, sorry. I was double clicking on it. So you just select the text box, and then you can go over here to the text 1/4 inch Arial, and you can change it. Let's try the 3/32, and that one looks about right. That looks like the rest. There we go. And I want you to go ahead and do a few more of these text ones. So go to your Annotate tab, under Text, use the 2 segment, and we're going to point out these wooden studs here. We're going to click it, come out here, and then maybe we'll type here. And we're going to do 2 by 6 wood stud. There we go. And we'll change that text size again to 3/32 inch. Oh, nope. Let's try that again. And then change it to 3/32. Alright, the next one that we're going to go over is the tag by category. So let's go to the let's go to the level 1 floor plan. And then under the Annotate tab, click the tag by category icon. These ones are supposed to be a little bit more simple, so we're going to try that here. You should be able to just simply click over a door and then see that it already comes in and it hovers over with a certain emblem under it. Same thing if you hover over a window. You can see that the window also shows a different type of shape and the wall also has a different type of shape. So what I want you to do is let's just hover over these top 4 windows first, and let's click just at the center point of each one, and it's labeling them all number 9. So what this is doing is that a window schedule will show you is usually classified by their type and their size. So right now, because all 4 of these windows are the same type of window, that they're labeling them all a number 9 window. Then this will have its own line, a number 9, on a window schedule. Same thing with doors. So let's go and do the same thing. We're going to click on these 4 doors here. And then we don't want these to sit in the drawing, so we're just going to click that little, this time it's going to be the little 4 arrows, that little cross there, and we're going to click and drag out on all 4 of the doors. There you go. And then in case your symbols are already very, very large, like say they're taking up too much space, again, just go to the scale at the bottom on the visual options bar, and then just change it. Right now mine's on a 1/4 inch equals a foot. Let's see, if I want it a little bit larger, I could do an 1/8 inch equals a foot, just so you can see it a little bit from farther back. And then go ahead and add 4 more of these tag by categories. We're going to do the same thing down here to these 4 doors. And then we're going to drag these off of the drawing itself onto our canvas white space, and we want to line them up so it looks very nice and tidy. Here we go. So the next thing we can do is we can add legends and Keynote legends into our 2D annotations and our drawings that will help someone understand these a little bit better. So legends are just as you would think they are. They're used to identify the symbols and add notes that can be added to multiple sheets during the construction document phase. And then the Keynote legends are a combination of text references in a legend that can provide written information about elements, materials, or codes within a construction document. But for now, we're going to let's first do a legend icon, or the legend. We're going to place a legend, so we're going to go into the View tab, and then we're going to go to the Legends icon. Let's do the drop down, and we want to do Legend. We'll leave this one as just Legend 1, and we'll make sure that the 1/4 inch is equal to 1 foot is chosen, and then we're going to click OK. In the project browser, like we've seen before, you can add elements such as like families, trees, different kind of elements from there. You can also do the same thing with annotation symbols. So scroll down in your project browser under families, and we're going to expand the annotation symbol. And then we want to expand the door tags, and then you'll see door tag. So just click and hold that down and drag onto the canvas. And there's our door tag. And then let's do the same thing for our spot elevation. And let's do the target filled though. So do spot elevation, target filled. There we go. And let's do the section head. And we'll do the section head filled. And then let's also do the window tag. Put that one up here because it's smaller. And then let's also do a wall tag that's a 1/2 inch. There you go. I'm going to hit escape to exit out of that. And then on the Annotate tab, we're going to click the text icon, which again is the big letter A. And we're going to choose the text box without a leader. There we go. And then we're just going to label them what they are. So this first one was a window. And let's select that real quick. Okay, so it is a 3/32 inch. If your text is not a 3/32 inch, go ahead and change that. And we want to line that up there a little bit. And let's go ahead and add a couple more. This one was a door tag. This one was a spot elevation. This one was I think it was a section cut. No, that was section head. Filled. I won't put filled. Just do section head. And then down here, we have wall. Okay. And let's go ahead and let's line these up. Like so, and then let's make sure that they are also even with the icons on the side. I'm just simply selecting the text box, and I'm using my arrow keys, and I'm kind of eyeballing it to make sure that it looks nice. Okay. Let's go back to the level 1 view, and we're going to add dimension strings. Something else is also very commonly seen on our 2D annotation drawings. So go to the Annotate tab, and then let's click on the aligned dimension, which is over here on the left. I'm going to select that. And we're just going to practice placing some of these. So we're going to go use the tab key and select the exterior edge here. And then we're going to show the alignment in between these windows. And then let's select the outer edge of this wall, or where the brick ends, and then the exterior facing of that curtain wall. And then let's bring that up and click once on the line to place that. Let's do that again. Let's select the exterior facing of this wall, and then go straight over here to the exterior facing of the curtain wall. Then drag that up and click once to set that dimension string. Let's do it one more time down here. We're going to go to the exterior facing because we're using the tab key. Exterior facing. Let's do the end of the brick wall here and the end of the glass here. And then let's do the same thing. Let's do 2 big ones. There we go. And then let's just do one more here. Let's do these offices here. These office walls. And then let's just bring that down, say about here. And then let's do these office walls and bring it up to about there. So that one was pretty easy, pretty simple. And then let's go to, looks like we've already done a few. We'll do a couple more just in case I haven't covered it in this video. In order to do radiuses, instead of having the aligned, you can select the radial and then just hover over, say, the corner of this little conference room here, and then it automatically will find the center of what would be that circle. And then, oh, let's do that again, and then click on that line to put that radius. We'll do it one more time over here. Let's do it on this side. Click once where it's selecting that line, and click once on the dimension to place that dimension. You can also do angles as well. So go ahead and select that angle tool, and then let's just go from this wall here to this wall here, and then place that one right there, nice and big. So often in drawings, you'll never see very large radiuses or very odd radiuses like this one where it's 31 over 32. In this case, go ahead and select that R radius that we have here. And what we want to do is go to the type selector over here in the properties palette, and we're going to click the edit type button. And we want to duplicate this radial 3 over 32 Arial text. And we'll just call this one here, we're going to add the word rounded to the end of it. And that'll make sense in just a moment. So under the properties that you have, you can change the text size, you can change whether or not how the arrow looks, the size of the arrow, whether it's coming away from the origin, it's going, beyond the witness lines that they have. But you can also see that the unit format here shows that it's getting very specific on very small detail. And so you can change that just by clicking that gray box. And it says to use the project settings, but we're going to deselect that little box. And then you can change the rounding to a higher amount. So you could go down to just up to a foot, up to the nearest 6 inches, or up to 1 inch. So what we're going to do is change it to rounding to the nearest 1/8 of an inch. Just to show you kind of how that will look. So select OK, and then OK again. And that's changed to 1 foot 5 inches. And in case you want to say this is covering the wall and we don't want that, you can zoom into it here and all these little blue dots show up, which means you can drag and change these up a little bit, but you can also drag, so you can click and drag that text away. That way we're not interrupting the visual of the wall, so that way that measurement doesn't cover it. Alright guys, this is the end of lecture 10, and if you have any questions, just let us know, and I hope you have a happy and a good week, and we'll see you next week.